And I believe we are live. I need to mute my computer and my phone. I just turned my phone chat on so I can see. How's everybody doing? Bernadette, Autumn. I saw Tara White was here too. Probably got confusing. I was going to have the live stream at 8 p.m., but then we were going out to dinner and I didn't want to rush dinner, and then I didn't want to schedule a live stream and then not be here when it was supposed to be starting. So, hey, Elana, thank you. Thank you. Had a nice, slightly boring but pleasant and drama-free birthday, which I would prefer over anything else. Yes. Yes. Hey, Evan, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Thank you. Kahlest, hello. The evening must be a better time. I did do a poll on Twitter and YouTube, and I shared it across all of the social media platforms. Thank you. Thank you. To make sure that there was a better time for everybody to be able to come. So I hope this works out better. Just right. Happy birthday. Yeah. Did you like that? Those are some of the funniest things ever. If you're ever bored and you Google or go on Pinterest or Google birthday cake fails, those are the funniest ones. There's one that just said, "You have aged." I hope everybody's doing good. I have, let's see, the first set of stories I have for us this evening are 41 of the creepiest unsolved mysteries of all times, and a few of them that are ones that have been done a million times on the internet. I will just skip over. They've got the Elisa Lam thing on there, and I'll just skip over that because we've all heard it a million times. I think everyone has heard that a bunch of times. If not, I'll read it. And then I have the next. Ooh, I accidentally clicked on Amazon. And then the next set of stories is 20 creepiest, most unbelievable thing they've seen while working the grave shift. And I even have 3 sets here. Hold on a second. Accidentally opened Amazon. Don't know why I did that. And then 50 puzzling unsolved mysteries. I'm not really sure if that's along the same lines or not. I didn't get a chance to look over that one very much yet. So we'll go to that one last. That's crazy. It looks like I haven't seen that one before. I'm going to give everybody a chance to gather. Element, hello, hello. Hope everyone's having an excellent evening. Hey, Dank Engine 59. That's a cool little name there. Next cake will say cut me. Oh, God. 29 going to be 30. 29 forever. Thank you, Tara. Hey, Element, Dank Engine. I said hi to everybody so far, I think, right? Let me see. Scroll up. Yes, I think so far I have. Anybody that's here that doesn't want to say hi, I'll say hi to you too. Not everybody likes to talk or use the chat. So, yep, I did do a poll to see what was best for everybody. Now, that doesn't mean that I'll always do it in the evening because there are people in the UK that can't make it because it is 5 hours plus ahead there. So, squirrel. Am I squirreling? I don't think I'm squirreling yet. I only had 1 drink with dinner and it wasn't, I don't think there was hardly anything in it. I had a really, a very spicy Bloody Mary, and I swear, the spice is upsetting my stomach right now. And I don't think there was hardly any vodka, and I could hardly eat my dinner because of it, so. Thank you. Yeah, awesome, Kahlest, awesome. Hey. Hi, congrats, bye. Okay, bye. No, I'm not squirreling yet. It depends on if I get to a story and it's got a sideline, element to it. That's usually what happens. Anyway. Brian Morrow. Hey! I haven't seen Brian in a long time. Lurking in the background. That's what I figured, because there's not many people come and talk, but it usually has a higher number of people watching than actually talk in the chat. So I figured there's some people just don't like to talk in the chat, and that's fine. So I have to make sure that I'm entertaining everyone that's listening that's not talking, right? I'm not. I'm just a person that was bored and started a channel. Oh, sorry. I'm eating some peppermint ice cream to try and settle my stomach down, and I forgot there's like candy chunks in it. But trust me, I'm just a regular person. I'm a bit of a nerdy homebody, so when I go out, like I enjoy myself, but then I have like there's like this internal cutoff time that my body decides when I'm done being out in public, like going to and from places when people are constantly riding your ass. I can only handle so much of that. Like I instantly want to just go back home and hide. Like I hate that. I don't like the mall. Like I like to go to the mall and shop if it's totally empty. Swear to God. I don't like crowds. No, it has to be like a certain kind of mindset or like something I really want to be at. And even then I have my like, yeah, I have my internal, I'm done with this. Like, I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I am. Anyway, so we are going to dive into 41 of the creepiest unsolved mystery of all time. And as I said, whoever just joined us, if it's something that's been redone on YouTube and the internet a million times, I'm going to skip over it. So, yeah, we're going to dive right in. So far, predominantly, these are ones I haven't heard myself before. So I'm hoping you haven't heard them either. So this first one is about a woman who recorded other people's voices on her sleep app. So she says, "This night I was sleeping in my bed. My 3-year-old was with me that night as he's scared of the dark. It was just the two of us in the entire house. The next night, I decided to go through and delete my recordings and saw this particular recording in it. You can hear some clicks that start to get louder over the course of the recording. Eventually, you can hear me say, 'What are you doing?' And immediately after, there's a deep voice that says, 'Nothing.' The clicks become very loud at that point, and at the very end of the recording, you hear the same voice say, 'That's them, I think.' I'm pretty creeped out by this. I don't remember being awake that night. The only plausible explanation is that I answered my own sleep talking, but the voice doesn't even sound like me, or something I could emulate. It definitely doesn't sound like my voice. It doesn't sound like a voice my preschooler could emulate either, and I have no idea what the clicks could be. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. I keep a fan going at night for the white noise, but the clicks sound like they're coming from right near my phone, which is placed right by me on my bedside table. I want to say that I've picked up the clicks a few times on recordings before, but deleted them thinking it was nothing. This is the first time I've heard them say anything, though. I've heard anything, though. And then there's a recording of what she was talking about. And I'll play it for you guys. So you might want to, if you have like hold on. Turn up the volume on your computer. I'm going to turn mine up really high. So hopefully you'll be able to hear. You know what? I'm going to share this screen with you so you can see that on the screen, because it's on SoundCloud. So on the screen, you'll see that there's little markings here and there of little spots. Let me make sure that that actually shared with you. Okay. There's little square marks where there's someone speaking. She marked in there, or it marked itself. I'm not exactly sure. There's not a lot of explanation, but there's little squares on the line of audio where there's noises and someone speaking when this woman is asleep. I'm going to play it one more time, and you can see if you look really closely at the screen, it's going to be really small if you're on your phone too. So, but you'll be able to see what she has, or it has interpreted as being said. So I don't know if you guys could really hear that or not. I'm going to close it out. It keeps replaying itself over and over again, which is starting to creep me out. And it's not even that scary. I don't know. Could you guys hear anything? Could you guys hear anything that was being said on there? Did you hear it? Oh, you've heard that before? Element, I just searched the internet for it. Seek and ye shall find. Have you heard that phrase before? Oh, and it's still sharing it. And I thought I pressed stop. Anyway. Yeah. Isn't that scary? Like you're in your room. I should record my stuff. My husband says I talk in my sleep all the time. And I've decided to start writing. I stopped writing down my dreams for a little while, and I should never do that. Number one, it helps my dreams kind of mellow out, and number two, they're hilarious. But my husband said the other morning, I woke up, and I don't remember being awake or saying this, but he said, I said, that's why that's so pretty. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, it goes on to say that, hold on a second here. This person says, I actually private messaged the original poster of the sleep app story, and she was happy to say that things were well in their new home. Her son was doing well. However, if you look at the more recently added comments after the story was posted, the lady says that her son started asking where Ho was and seeing the black guy with no face. OP and I exchanged some PMs about after a year of their original post to discuss what could be going on, and apparently Ho followed them to their new home, which was, there's a lot of information skipped over there, but that must have been what the child named one of the ghosts or something. This next one, okay, these ones aren't numbered, so we're just going to go. This one is called UVB 76, also known as the buzzer. I've never heard this one, so if you guys have, I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm going to have to share the screen for most of this because it looks like most of them have like a little video clip. So I'm going to have to talk louder with the thing unplugged because you're not going to be able to hear what these little things have. So bear with me. So this says, hold on, I'm just going to share the screen with you so you can see it too. And screen deception for just a moment. There we go. Okay. This is known as the buzzer. UVB 76 is a radio signal of unknown origin. No one knows what its purpose is or why it's happening. They suspect it may be of Russian origin, and here is what it sounds like. So make sure you turn up your I hope you guys can hear it. don't hear anything. Just beeping. How long is this? Almost over. Okay, I'm gonna plug my speaker back in, or my mic back in. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not, but there was a really, really faint scream of a woman that was in there in between the loud buzzing noises. But I mean, it could have, the way that the scream came across, it could have been literally a door opening or anything off in the distance. So, that's crazy. Okay. A somewhat bigger mystery, but truly terrifying. Dutroux is a well-known Belgian child abuser that was caught in the 90s. And it turns out the circle of abuse is much bigger and influential than one can imagine. This is a very long and well-documented read about how the investigation into child abuse is being hampered by government, police, upper-class figures, etc. And it takes a strong stomach to digest the witness accounts, highly not safe for work, and a strong stomach to digest the injustice. I'm going to not read that just in case it's really, really disturbing, because it could be really, really bad. And I'll set it aside and read it later because I don't want to stumble onto that. The murder of Mark Kilroy. He was one of the, remember when I did the story about Pan's Ram and, oh my gosh, I can't remember the guy's name. It was a double feature. And the guy was a leader of a witch cult in Mexico. And this guy was one of their victims who went missing. And he's part of the reason that they were able to stop the cult, because the parents were so insistent on finding him that it really helped bring a stop to the horrific things that they were doing. Yeah. I'm not sure, Element. I think the document of the story I read before this one that I was talking about, Dutroux, it was a well-documented, apparently, child abuse case. And that's what I was talking about. I don't know what's in it, and I'm not just going to read it not knowing, because it could be very, very bad. I have no idea. Moving on. Jodine Sarin. Sarin lived on her own, but depended on her family for help due to her mental challenges. So late in the evening of Valentine's Day 2007, Jodie's parents went to the condo they had purchased on Swallow Lane for their daughter and walked in on what they thought was an awkward situation. Art Sarin went to find his daughter in her bedroom and saw a man having sex with her. According to a news report, Sarin told the man to get dressed, and then he and his wife Louise went to wait for what they expected to be an embarrassed couple to join them in the kitchen. After several minutes, Sarin returned to the bedroom and found his daughter murdered, having been beaten and strangled to death. The man had escaped, possibly through the back door. In fact, investigators later found she had been dead for between 12 and 24 hours. Oh, gross. Oh, God. Hey, cats. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dale Kerstetter. I'm sharing this with you so you can see the pictures, because there's a lot of pictures in this set of stories. So I thought you might want to see what I'm seeing while I'm reading it to help set the scene. At 11 p.m. on September 12th, 1987, 50-year-old Dale Kerstetter showed up to work on the to work the overnight shift as a security guard at the Corning Glassworks plant in Bradford, Pennsylvania. Dale was a divorced father of 6 who worked at the plant for 29 years, but had recently been transferred from his position as a trades worker to a security guard, which involved him taking a pay cut between $5,000 and $7,000 a year. At 7 a.m. the following morning, Dale's relief arrived and discovered he was missing. Dale's truck was still in the parking lot with the keys in the ignition. His day pack and full carton of cigarettes were inside the truck, along with the holster for a .22 caliber gun he carried, which was never found. Dale's key to the plant and a newspaper were found on a table in the cafeteria, along with his lunch pail, which still had all his food inside. A police dog was brought in and tracked Dale's scent from the cafeteria to the second floor, but it came to an end at the plant's glass furnace. The security tape from that night was later checked. The plant had 3 security cameras, and the feed would alternate between each camera at random intervals. The footage revealed an unidentified masked intruder walking through the plant at various points between midnight and 1 a.m. In one of the shots, the intruder was seen meeting up with Dale in the back of the plant. They both walked past the security camera together, where Dale appeared to look up and stare directly at the camera before they disappeared out of frame. Dale did not show up in the security footage again, but one shot showed the intruder heading toward the glass furnace, the same area where the police dogs tracked Dale's scent. There was also a shot of the intruder wheeling a large bag through the plant on a manual forklift. It was soon discovered that $250,000 worth of platinum lining had been stolen from the furnace. On the surface, it appeared the intruder had forced Dale to escort him to the area containing the platinum before he subsequently murdered him and disposed of his body. However, Corning's management believed that Dale was actually involved in the theft. When Dale walked through the plant and stared directly into the security camera, some people interpreted this as a signal for help, but Corning thought Dale might have been taunting them about his crime. At the time, Dale was in debt and unhappy that his employer had cut his pay and given him a security position. So Corning believed Dale willingly escorted the intruder to the furnace, helping him steal the platinum, and then skipped town with his share of the profits. Of course, Dale's family didn't believe he would get involved with anything illegal and abandon his children, so they feared he was an innocent victim of foul play. Whatever the truth, there's been no trace of Dale Kerstetter in nearly 30 years. That's crazy. What do you guys think? Hey, damn gypsy. Sekhmet Incarnate. Hello. Thank you. I'm seeing new faces that I don't normally see when I have a daytime stream, so that's kind of cool. Ooh, nice. Baklava. I haven't had that in a really long time. I think it depends on where you get it from, too. Who made it. Sometimes it's a little... I know some people like it really, really crisp. Gibbons, hello. Hello. We are on 41 of the creepiest unsolved mysteries. And we have... we just started this. This is like the 5th one, and I think, you guys... this one is called the Circleville Letters. So this must be this is stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about knowing him. I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious. Everyone concerned has been notified and everything will be over soon. So a woman and her husband in Circleville, Ohio, started getting creepy letters. One day, the husband received a letter and got riled up enough that he got his gun and left the house. He was later found dead in a car crash. His gun had been fired. The husband's brother was eventually charged with the crime, but he began receiving the same letters once he was in prison. Here's a nice write-up on the whole story from the lineup. Oh, that's just the... No, okay. The Solder children. So on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1945, A fire destroyed the Sutter home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, United States. At the time it was occupied. Sorry, my mouth's trying to move faster than my brain is. It was occupied by George Sutter, his wife Jenny, and 9 of their 10 children. During the fire, George, Jenny, and 4 of the 9 children escaped. The bodies of the other 5 children were never found. The Sutters believed for the rest of their lives that the 5 missing children survived. Ooh, Are these depressing, anyone? I don't want to depress people before Christmas. It's kind of like a fine line kind of time. Dave Box. Apparently there's a video here. If you guys want me to click on that, you let me know. I'll just look in the comments. But this is a factory worker at a nuclear power plant went missing during his shift. Many people suspect foul play, as he may have been a whistleblower for illegal activities taking place at the plant. How long is this video? Let me see how long it is first. 42 minutes. Okay, yeah, we're not going to play that. We're not going to play that. It's 42 minutes. I will leave the link for you guys if you guys want to watch that yourself. No, we're not going to do that. Blind River Killer. Blind River Killer. I've never heard of that. Have you guys? My phone, I'm trying to see the comment section, but my phone's stuck. You've heard of all these before? Well, damn. Oh, hey, Tim. Thank you. I did say hi to Yurt, and I did say hi to Sekhemet. I hope I said that right. Incarnate. And I don't think I skipped anyone else. If I did, please let me know. I haven't heard them, so I'm sorry. Blind River Killer. So you've heard of this one too? Wow. Well, no. This is the Blind River Killer, not the Green River Killer. I remember this as the scariest episode of Unsolved Mysteries in which an elderly couple on a cross-country road trip stopped at a rest area to sleep for the night. In the middle of the night, someone attacked the couple, shot and killed. It just says middle of the night, attacked the couple, and shot and killed a bystander who came to their aid. That doesn't even make sense. He drove off in a blue van and was never caught. Okay. I don't understand why these people get paid and they don't even spell check. Anyways, East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker. A serial rapist and killer who raped at least 50 women in Northern California in the 1970s has never been identified. Isn't that the guy who was just discovered who he was? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I think this is the guy that's the East Area Rapist. He sent letters and drawings to newspapers in the area taunting citizens. Here's a map he drew of what he believed to be his ideal suburban neighborhood stalking grounds. On a side note, here's a picture of how to not make a neighborhood. Thank you, creepy guy. Yikes. Ugh. Apparently he would call and taunt his victims or intended victims. He called one woman he raped to wish her a Merry Christmas, saying, "Merry Christmas, it's me again," and hangs up. You can listen to some of the phone calls here, but be warned, these are very disturbing. Do you guys want me to play any of them, or should I just move on to the next one? You guys let me know. Oh, I know. I've heard that too. I've heard that theory too. That they think that Jack the Ripper was a female. Just because it seemed so, because it was so violent toward the women, that it almost seemed like it would be a woman. Okay, let's just see. Let's see. I didn't get a response, or I don't see a response. So I'm just going to play it and see if you can hear it. You whispered, "I'm going to kill you," if you didn't hear that. He keeps calling the same lady over and over again. He's saying bitch. Fucking whore. All right. You know what's ironic? I don't think that it's ironic that he had his TV up full blast and was whispering into the phone. Like, what a friggin' lunatic. Oh, bummer. Bye, Kahlest. So I thought we were going to hear something creepy. I mean, it's not like it wasn't creepy. That would make me want to taunt him to come get me so I could kill him. I don't know. Something in my brain was just like, no. I just can't even. No. I don't like being the victim. Just can't do it. Like, someone can make you a victim once. Don't let them make you a victim again. I don't know. I'm squirreling off. Autumn's gonna put up the little squirrel thing. All right. There's still more to this. It says there was a town meeting to discuss the rapist and killer at large. And during the meeting, one man stood up to say that the East Area rapist could never harm his family because he wouldn't let something like that happen to his wife. His wife was later attacked, leading people to believe the actual East Area rapist attended the town meeting. Obviously. I mean, obviously, that was just baiting him. The Ketty cabin murders, I think I've spoke about this before, or I'm not sure. So, Glenna Sue Sharp, 36, and her 5 children had been renting the cabin since November of 1980. At approximately 7:45 a.m. on the morning of April 12th, Sheila Sharp, upon returning from the sleepover next door, discovered the tied-up bodies of Sue, John, and Dana in the home's living room. Plumas County Sheriff's deputies later determined that Tina Sharp was missing from the location. The murders have been commented upon for their particular viciousness. After approximately 4,000 man-hours spent on the case, it grew cold. But in 1984, the cranium portion of a skull was recovered near Feather Falls in neighboring Butte County, a distance of roughly 63 miles from Ketty. Butte County Sheriff's Office released both the original and backup copy of the audio recordings of the anonymous call to an undisclosed member of law enforcement. Now, as of May 2017, no arrests have been made in connection with the Ketty murders, although 2 suspects who had criminal records, now deceased, have been proposed. In 2004, Cabin 28 was demolished. There's been a recent break in the case, however, for many that may explain what happened. So on March 24th of 2016, a hammer matching the description of a hammer suspect Martin Smart said he had lost shortly before the murders was taken into evidence by Plumas County Special Investigator Mike Gamberg. Sheriff Hagwood stated, "The location it was found, it seems it would have been intentionally be put there. It would not have been accidentally misplaced." I don't know, that little paragraph there was all over the place. Butte County I can't believe I got through that and didn't laugh. Oh my God. Anyways, the Mothman sightings of 1966 were always a favorite story of mine and still are. Now, Autumn's going to talk about this. Don't get scared, Autumn. It's just one story. We'll move on from it from there. I swear we won't linger on this and freak you out. Oh my gosh. My husband loves Saved by the Bell, and I laugh every time I go in the living room and it's on. Oh my God. All right, so if you go down the rabbit hole, there's so many weird pieces, including Men in Black showing up to this tiny town, and some of it might have been mass hysteria, but it was a very wild ride until the end. Okay. That was weird. Okay. Morgan Nick. On June 9th, 1995, Morgan Nick and her mother, Colleen Nick, went to a Little League baseball game, if you didn't catch that, in their town of Alma, Arkansas. At around 10:30 p.m., Morgan asked her mother if she could catch lightning bugs with her friends. At first, her mother was uncertain, but eventually let her go. She was last seen at 10:45 by her... How old is this girl? What does she look? 7? 10:30 at night. Anyways, she was last seen at 10:45 by her friends, emptying sand out of her shoes, alone near her mother's car while her group of friends emptied their shoes a few dozen feet away. Morgan's friends reported seeing a creepy man talking to Morgan as she was putting her shoes back on. When the game ended shortly thereafter, Morgan's friends returned without her. They told Colleen that Morgan was at her car, but when Colleen returned to the car, Morgan was not there. She has not been seen or heard from since. Ooh. Pedro Lopez. If you haven't watched my Serial Killer Saturday on Pedro Lopez, and you have a strong stomach, any of them, but definitely that one you need a strong stomach for. He is known for murdering 300 plus little girls and was released because the law in Colombia is 20 years is the max sentence you can serve, and no one knows where he is now. Some believe he's alive, but most people believe he was lynched as soon as he was released by many of the family members of his many, many victims. I believe he wouldn't have made it 5 minutes out of that jail before he got murdered. Brian Schaefer, medical student who went to a local bar for a drink and was never seen again. Security footage showed him entering the bar, but not leaving. He was, by all accounts, happy and had plans to propose to his girlfriend the following week. He hasn't been seen since that night. Now, you've all heard of that one too, or no? I haven't heard of that one before. Tell your husband to watch Zach Morris's trash. What is that? Hinterkaifeck murders. I've never heard of this one. Not even a hint of it. Doesn't even sound familiar. So, let's see. This is the farm. That picture looks familiar, though. I feel like I've seen that in a TV show, like maybe Ghost Hunters or something. A few days prior to the crime, farmer Andreas Gruber told neighbors about discovering footprints in the snow leading from the edge of the forest to the farm, but none leading back. He also spoke about hearing footsteps in the attic and finding an unfamiliar newspaper on the farm. Furthermore, the house keys went missing several days before the murders. None of this was reported to the police prior to the attack. 6 months earlier, the previous maid had left the farm, claiming that it was haunted. The new maid, Maria Baumgartner, arrived on the farm on the day of the attack and was killed hours later. Exactly what happened on that Friday evening cannot be said for certain. It's believed that the older couple, as well as their daughter Victoria and her daughter Cecilia, were all lured into the barn one by one, where they were killed. The perpetrator or perpetrators then went into the house where they killed 2-year-old Joseph, or Joseph is probably how it was pronounced, who was sleeping in his cot in his mother's bedroom, as well as the maid Maria in her bedchamber. On the following Tuesday, April 4th, neighbors came to the farmstead because none of its inhabitants had been seen for days. Ooh. You guys have all heard that one too? I'll remember that. Zach Morris is trash. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Dorothy Jane Scott. So you guys let me know if you've heard this one too. Dorothy Jane Scott disappeared on May 28th, 1980 in Anaheim, California. She had driven two co-workers to the hospital after one had been bitten by a spider. While they were waiting for a prescription to be filled, Scott went to go get her car and bring it around to meet them. Her car approached them, but it sped away. Neither could see who was driving as its headlights had blinded them. They reported her missing a couple of hours later. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to yawn. After not hearing from her. In the preceding months, Scott had been receiving anonymous phone calls from a man who had reportedly been stalking her. He had threatened to get her alone and cut her up into little bits so no one would ever find her. The Dilatov Pass incident. I think I've gotten a lot of requests to do this one. So the Dyatlov Pass incident and the unsolved disappearance of 9 hikers in the Ural Mountains in Russia in 1959 and subsequent discovery. There's a whole lot of details in this case which are mentioned in the link, but for a brief summary. 10 experienced ski hikers embark upon a trek through a mountain pass that locals describe as Devil's Pass. One of the hikers returns on his own due to illness. The others continue ahead. After the party doesn't return when expected, a search party is sent out into the mountains to look for them. Their campsite was eventually found, abandoned and slashed open from the inside. And the bodies were eventually all found at various points nearby in various unusual states, including some naked or undressed, some with their heads basically smashed in, which later investigations showed were impossible to have been done by humans. This is a conspiracy theorist's wet dream, with details that don't add up. Cold War, KGB cover-ups, UFO sightings, cryptozoology, Yeti theories, weapons testing, nuclear radiation emanating from the bodies, stories of local savage tribes, etc. But even without all that, it's still a pretty eerie story on its own. It's a rabbit hole and one of my personal favorite stories. That's what the person said anyway. Hey. Football Master, did you see that somebody said something about oh, you did see it? You did watch Zach Morris's trash? Oh. Gling. I don't recognize you. Welcome. If there's anybody else here that I didn't say hi to yet, please let me know. When I get reading the stories, I kind of focus in on them. I don't see anybody else. If you're here and I didn't get to say hello to that, then let me know. Oh, yeah, I'd rather get $20 too. I was one of those, I just never was a big fan of boy bands. I don't know why. I'm much more, I enjoy just the creative individual that comes up. I don't know. I know that girls in the mass usually like things like that, but I'm just a different person. I was never a big fan of that. I'm not saying anything bad about them or anything like that, because I think that, like, a good example is like Justin Timberlake broke out on his own and is clearly a very talented person. He writes a lot. His voice is actually really amazing. So I am a fan of his personally, but I'm not a fan of, 4 guys in a line dancing and singing. I don't know. Anyways, that's all. Back to the stories. Oh, okay. Jerry Rholetter, hello. Oh, your heart belongs to Creeps McPasta. I need to listen to more of his stuff too. He's a really good storyteller. I forget. It's like this morning, today I watched some YouTube videos finally, or yesterday too. Finally got to listen to something of units and your makers, and I haven't in a long time. Like, Jeez, just sit there and listen to them. I have to seek them out. I noticed that I don't see anything like that in my feed. Are you guys seeing that stuff in your feed? Like, I have to go to their channels and seek it out. Otherwise, I don't see when they have something new. But I'm also subscribed to, like, I'm going to say it's got to be close to 1,000 channels. And I'm all over the place with it, too. So, anyway. Hell Freezer. Yeah. I like Hell Freezer, too. And not Sinful Savant. I always forget what this one channel's name is. I'm going to squirrel for a second so I can remember what this channel's name is. Shoot, I have to stop sharing so I don't drive you guys crazy with that screen. Man, I can't. Oh, it's Fright Night. That's what it was. Fright Night. He's one of. I really like when he does stuff about SCPs. He makes it, to me, when he reads an SCP, it feels really believable. I don't know why. It seems so believable when he reads it. He just sounds like he's got a voice that just seems like matter of fact, no nonsense kind of. It sounds very believable because he doesn't sound like he's trying to read something that's fiction. He sounds like someone who's just telling you something that actually happened. So that freaks me out. Mortis Media, yeah. I barely watch TV. I'm addicted to YouTube. That's probably why I have 2 channels on here. I'm probably going to have 2 or 3 more. I'm not sure. Probably just 2 more. I'm not 100% sure on that. YouTube Gleam. Yeah. Okay. Laureen Ron. So you guys let me know if you've heard this, because this doesn't sound familiar to me at all. 14-year-old Lorraine Ron was last seen in her apartment in Manchester, New Hampshire. God. On April 26, 1980. She's 14. She spent the evening drinking beer with a male and female friend while her mother Judith was away at a tennis tournament. At some point, the boy heard voices in the hallway and left through the back door, thinking Judith, the mother, was home. He stated he heard Laureen lock the door behind him. When Judith finally did return home at midnight, she found the building completely dark because the light bulbs on all 3 floors had been unscrewed. She checked Laureen's room and thought she saw Laureen asleep on the bed. In the morning, however, this turned out to be Laureen's friend, who said that she had last seen Laureen going to sleep on the couch. Laureen's clothes and new sneakers were in the living room, and the back door was open. The police investigation went nowhere until Judith looked at her phone bill and discovered that she had been charged for 3 phone calls made from Santa Monica, California on October 1st, 1980, 3 months after Lauren went missing. 2 of these phone calls were placed from a Santa Monica motel to another motel in Santa Ana. The 3rd call was sent to a teen sexual assistance hotline run by a plastic surgeon. Authorities in Santa Monica questioned this surgeon, and he denied knowing anything about Laureen. Judith hired her own investigator in 1985 who questioned the doctor again. This time, he altered his story and said that his wife was sometimes visited by runaway girls, and that one of these girls may have been from New Hampshire. He also believed that a colleague of his wife's named Annie Sprinkle knew more about these runaways. Authorities looked into this and found that Sprinkle, that's hard to take that name seriously, was involved in the porn industry, but nothing was found linking her to Laureen. Another investigator traveled to Santa Monica in 1986 and learned that the 2 hotels may have been used by a child pornographer named Dr. Z. But authorities couldn't find a connection between Dr. Z and the doctor who ran the hotline. Yeah, you have to have actual hard evidence to get a charge. That's what sucks about it. For a year after the disappearance, Judith reported getting regular phone calls at around 3:45 a.m., but there would be nothing but silence on the line when she answered.
She received similar calls around the Christmas holidays for several years until she finally changed her number. According to Charlie Project, a childhood friend of Lorraine's received a call from someone claiming to be her in 1986. His mother answered the phone, but unfortunately, the article doesn't elaborate on what the caller said. In the previous thread about this, the original poster quoted someone from a forum post who claims that her mother was the friend who was with Lorraine when she vanished. Her mother said that they were hanging out with two guys that day, not one as stated in the Charlie Project. And that day, Lorraine may have left with one of them. The guy who left for the back door committed suicide in 1985 and is not considered a suspect. It is also worth noting that other women, Denise Denault, Rachel Garden, of similar physical appearance to Lorraine, disappeared from the same area within a 6-week time period. Their cases are also unsolved and have never been linked. Why wouldn't they be linked? I mean, the coincidences are far too... I don't know. It's having a live stream in a few hours. I'm going back up. Can you stomach Hallmark movies or Food Network? There's a few things I wish I would have watched on the Food Network, but I can't just sit there and watch it. And the Hallmark, I swear somewhere, and I've said this before, I swear to God, there must be a 6th grade class somewhere that all they do every day is write new Hallmark movies, because that's got to be like the mindset. There's been a very few really good Hallmark movies, and especially recently because they pump those babies out, it seems like daily. And the mindset is always, a lady's got a really good successful career, but she has to go home to ... Then she realizes that she prefers to live back there ... Like the lady can't have a nice career and a good life and be happy. Like that, they're selling that by the dozen. That makes me kind of really upset. Like, come on. I will admit that I haven't liked the newer ones, but I really liked when the Good Witch came out at first. I really, really liked that. But then they made it all too Hallmarky. So the very first one, I really, really liked that one. But once in a while they put out something that's decent, but if I can't make it through the first 5 minutes of eye roll, she's got to go back to her country farm and realizes that's where she belonged the whole time. Like, she can't also be a doctor and own an apple farm? Come on, Hallmark Channel. Oh, God damn. Anyways, the 30 minutes or less murder. You know, they made a movie about that, right? I'm pretty sure they did. So Brian Douglas Wells was an American pizza delivery man who was killed by a remotely controlled bomb fastened to his neck under coercion from the maker of the bomb. After he was apprehended by the police for robbing a bank, the bomb was detonated. Oh. Ooh. Yikes. Yep, I did squirrel there for a minute, but it was all linked. Down the hill. So on February 14th, 2014, the bodies of Abigail Abby Williams and Liberty Libby German were discovered on an American hiking trail in Delphi, Indiana. I think you guys have all heard of this one. I have too. They were going down a trail, and there's like, they're taking pictures, and then there's like one picture that they took of a guy. There was a guy like behind them. So they found that, but they never found the guy or the girls, right? Creepy. Okay. Lars Matank. This is a case about a 28-year-old man from Germany, Lars Matank, who visited Bulgaria with his friends. I've never heard this one, so if you guys have, sorry. This place in Bulgaria is very famous for young people from Germany and England, same as Mallorca or Ibiza. Matank got involved into a fight and hurt his ear, something that happens always at those places where many young people partying. He stayed there and enjoyed the rest of his holidays with his friends. When they had to leave, though, the doctor said he couldn't use the airplane because of his ear. So he decided to stay in Bulgaria and rented a room in a hostel while his friends left. He called at night, and his mother said he called his mother that night and said that he was afraid for his life. There is footage from the airport. Matank wanted to leave again and catch his next flight. He went to the doctor's office, though, with all of his stuff, suitcase, etc., and after that, he runs out from the doctor's office. People saw him out. People outside saw him, how he climbed over a fence and disappeared into a nearby forest. And still today, no one knows what happened to him or where he is, and his family is still searching for him. There is even a Facebook page. Wow. Lisa Lamb. Has everybody heard of Lisa Lamb? So I can skip this one. I don't really want to read this if you guys have all heard of it. I just heard Macbeth yesterday. I do every year. It's everything. Has everything witchcraft, head chopping. Hey, Phantom. Oh, yeah, I can't help myself. Gling, you've not heard of the Elisa Lamb case? Basically, it's this girl, she goes into this hotel, and I don't really know why she's seen exiting and re-entering the elevator, and it's all on cam. Then it looks like she's talking and gesturing in the hallway outside. And sometimes looks like she's hiding in the elevator from someone, but there's no one there. And all the security footage, there's no one there. So that video went viral. And then she went missing and they couldn't find her. And then someone said they tasted something weird. The water smelled weird. And they actually found her in one of the hotel's enormous water tanks that were on the roof. Her naked body was in there. And the most disturbing part is that they said that they had a hard time lifting the lid up. They had no way of figuring out how she got in there because it would have taken several people to put her in there. She couldn't have gotten in there by herself. There's no way that her tiny frame would have reached the lid to lift it off. So yeah. Okay, yeah. You're right. That's really weird. It's weird that the one place that they didn't have any cameras was on the roof. I think that's really strange because they had them everywhere else in the entire hotel, which I've never heard anybody say that, but I've never heard anyone even mention that. Why didn't they have any cameras on the roof? They have them everywhere else in that hotel, except for the roof. I find that odd. Suspicious. Anyway. Paula Jean Weldon. This doesn't sound familiar to me, so if it's familiar to you guys, you'll have to let me know. So Paula Jean Weldon was a sophomore at Bennington College in Bennington, Vermont in the fall of 1946. On December 1st, she told her roommate, Elizabeth Johnson, that she was through with studies. I'm taking a long walk. Dressed in a red parka coat with a fur-lined hood, blue jeans, top-sider shoes with thick soles, and a gold Elgin wristwatch with a black band. She made no indication she planned on staying gone for very long. She was supposed to walk part of Vermont's long trail. Danny Fager, who owned a gas station near the college gates, said he spotted her. He said he had seen her run up and down the side of the gravel pit near the entrance of the college around 2:45 p.m. 15 minutes late, Lewis Knapp claimed to have picked up a young girl matching Paula's description on Route 67A and let her out on Route 9 near the Long Trail. Just after 4, she was spotted by several people in Bickford Hollow, seemingly headed toward the trail. When Paula didn't come home later that night, Elizabeth was not yet worried and didn't warn anyone. The next morning, when Paula had still not come back by the next morning, she contacted college president Louis Webster Jones. Jones then phoned Paula's parents to ask if she had gone home for the weekend. Mrs. Weldon collapsed with worry. Her father, Archibald Weldon. Sorry, I almost couldn't read that without laughing. Totally inappropriate. He immediately left the family home in Stamford, Connecticut. Not Stanford, Stamford. That's how they spelled it. Anyways, he helped organize a massive search party, but their search turned up empty. He then called the New York and Connecticut state police forces, as Vermont did not have a state police force at the time. Days passed, and Paula was still missing. Then a waitress in Fall River, Massachusetts, claimed to have served dinner to a disturbed woman fitting Paula's description. Strangely, after hearing this, Mr. Weldon vanished for 36 hours. After his return, people began to suspect that he had something to do with his daughter's disappearance. It came to light that Mr. Weldon did not approve of a boy Paula had been seeing. He claimed this boyfriend had to be a really responsible party. But his only proof came from a clairvoyant. He then began to trash the police for their lack of professionalism and lack of records. Mr. Weldon soon returned home to his home in Stamford. Poor weather eventually halted the search for Paula. But 9 years later, a lumberjack came forward saying he knew where her body was buried. After being questioned, he eventually admitted making it up for publicity. Then, in 1968, a skeleton was found. Later determined it was far too old to be Paula. There have been many theories as to what happened to Paula that fateful December's day. Did she simply get lost in the woods, or die in the elements? Or did she run off with her boyfriend? Or did the so-called Bennington Triangle, where 5 people vanished between 1945 and 1950, have something to do with it? Okay, that's odd. I don't know. Has anybody ever heard of that? That's really strange. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's highly suspicious when someone is deeply concerned that goes missing with no explanation right on the time. We could talk about that guy in Colorado that, what's funny is I didn't know that guy in Colorado had murdered his pregnant wife and 2 kids. And I was trying to figure out why everybody was watching the video of her telling him that he was pregnant. Her telling him that she was pregnant with their 3rd baby. And I'm like, why is this going viral? And then I realized it was because it wasn't very long after she told him that she was pregnant with a 3rd child that he murdered them all. And he said he had come home, they were missing, and we had made a plea to the news, and then he was charged. It was crazy. Yes, I've gotten many, many requests on missing 411. And I have to go and make sure, when I do them, I have to make sure I don't repeat the same thing. I think Darkness Prevails just did missing 411 cases, so I would have to go through there and make sure that I didn't repeat what he just did. So check out the Rusty West channel sometime. He posts videos on that subject. Oh, really, Bernadette? That guy was supposedly having an affair? I heard he was having an affair with a man. Not that it matters. An affair is an affair, but this next one is called Grave Robbing for Morons. So in the early 1990s, a homemade VHS circulated around called Grave Robbing for Morons, and it features a young man explaining how to rob graves without getting caught, what bones are most valuable, and other grave robbing tips. In the video, he shows what appears to be an actual human skull that he's stolen, and at the end he gives nicknames of himself and his grave robbing crew: Anthony, Gino, Taco, Poochie, and vows to continue robbing graves for the fun of it. To this day, no one knows who made this video or who the narrator is. There's a site dedicated to finding out who the origin of the video is and the identity of the narrator, but they don't have any additional information to add. Because of the over-the-top nature of some of the advice, Some believe that the video is an act intended to cash in on pseudo-reality television craze that was going on thanks to the Faces of Death videos. But others seem to think that, at very least, the narrator has robbed graves and that this could be a legit, not faked video. Oh, I see. They're saying that they pretended like they robbed graves. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can sell those. Who's going to buy that? I don't know. Creepy rich people buy anything, don't they? What's a VHS? Ha ha ha. Oh God. Just the shoes are found? The Jesuits are behind. There's so many theories. He was joking, Tara. Okay, Catherine Oat. I feel like I've read that before. Okay, so this is a missing persons case, and it doesn't have much coverage. I'm hoping to bring some interest back to this 3-year-old unresolved disappearance. So in 2014, okay, so this must have been from last year, Catherine Gale Ott was 56. She was 62 to 64 inches tall, weighed around 125 to 140 pounds. Kathy has brown eyes that may appear hazel and wears glasses. She avoids driving at night. She underwent a hysterectomy in 2013 that left her with an abdominal scar. She had a bad left kneecap with a noticeable scarring from where the wire was placed to keep the knee together. She had been losing her blonde hair, graying hair, and wore a wig. Her family believed she had been recently diagnosed with a serious medical condition in 2014, although she had not disclosed any details of an illness to them. Kathy packed up her things and left her husband at their home in Lapeer, Michigan. This is very close to home to me, in May of 2014, after receiving Social Security disability with back pay. Correction, she received supplemental Social Security income with back pay. She drove her 2003 gray Chevrolet Impala with Michigan tag 2JSN90 to her son's home in Gulf Shores, Alabama, arriving in the end of May of 2014. On June 17th of 2014, she left Alabama after finding out she would not be able to receive her SSI checks. Her wig was left behind at her son's home. According to family, a missing persons report was filed and her children have not spoken to her since she left Gulf Shores. In late August 2014, Kathy called her father from St. Thomas Rutherford Hospital in Murfreesboro, I butchered that name, Tennessee, where she was receiving treatment for unknown reasons. This is the last time anyone heard from or saw Kathy. Her case file has Murfreesboro Police Department as the investigating agency, and her missing persons report was filed on February 27, 2015. What did Kathy do for 2 months with no incoming money, and how did she end up in Murfreesboro? Where is Catherine Alt? I believe I have heard that before just because it's local. So, yikes. Ooh. Oh, hey, Carrie. Hello. Hello. Thank you for coming, too. Element says I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on VHS, and my sister broke it because I watched it 1,000 times a day. It's freaking hilarious. Maybe Bigfoot got her. Maybe. He doesn't need a wig, though, does he? This next one is titled Barbie.avi. I've heard this title, but I've never listened to this story or read it, so bear with me. Allegedly found on a computer in a dumpster. The whole clip remains mysterious. I'll play it for you in a second. So an amputee can be seen on camera. She gets emotional throughout the video. During the video, text can be seen which says BIID if you guys are OGs on my channel, you know that it's body. Basically, it's a person that's got their arms, they've got everything, but they feel like their body would be more complete if it were missing a leg or missing an arm or missing a foot. They have body dysmorphia or disorder. It's I don't know how to explain it right. So it says after analysis, it was found out this stands for body integrity identity disorder, a disorder which makes people feel they need to have their limbs amputated because they believe they don't belong in their body. People have speculated that the woman is discussing her next operation with rogue doctors. So I'm going to play it for you because I've never seen this. So turn up your volume for a second. Bear with me and let's see what this is. We won't play it. It's 9 minutes long. We'll just skip through it. It's quite long. Great, you can't even hear it. Let's see. Okay, you can't even hear it, so never mind. Part of the problem with anything that they share with you on the internet is terrible, terrible footage. Okay. Oh, sweet. Hello, missing persons and mysteries. Hello. Yeah, that when I read that one, I was like, I can't believe more people didn't listen to that because it was so crazy. I mean, and the ending, if you haven't listened to that, you should go look because there's definite twist to the end of that. That woo, wow, that one is messed up. What superpower would I have? Huh. I mean, I know mind control, but in what way? And when you say somebody said mind control, like what mind control? I would like the ability to make, when I have thoughts, have them, you know, come into fruition. And it wouldn't be like, I want $1 million, so here's a pile of money. Like, you want someone to get better, so they get better. But the secret is you can't tell anybody that you have the ability to do that. So I would like that power. Oh, hello. Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. No, but I do have a face reveal video on my channel. I've tried, like, when I was doing that, I was so nervous about having my face on camera that there's no way that I could read the stories and have my face on the camera. Let me see. Where is it? Let me go back and see if I can find that. Hold on. Hold on. I'm like, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I know where it's at. I can put the link in the chat when I see it. I think it was in what was it? September? Anybody remember when that was? I know it was before October, so I have to go back to the second page. It's way back there. I'm not a fan of being on camera or having pictures taken. I like to take pictures of other people or things and videography and things like that, but I'm not a fan of being on camera. And I go back and forth with whether I should do that more or just keep it as it is. Because not that many people watched that video anyway. So as soon as I see it, I'll know it when I see it because it's got my stupid face on there. I think I must have skipped it. It must have been on page 2. I have the same problem. It's rough trying to tell a story and look good doing it. Yeah, I don't want to have to like look a specific way to do something that has nothing to do with my looks. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how people do that all the time and actually achieve things. I cannot. Where is it? Was it in August or was it in September? Does anybody know? I know what it says. Sorry about my face. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me see here. Let me do this. I'll just share the link with you. So embarrassing. I'll just screen share it and you can. Oh. Here, then you can see this. Wait, is it sharing? Okay, there it is. Wow, my lips look enormous. So maybe not so much lips. Yeah, stop sharing, and I'll just share that link with you guys. I unplugged my microphone so you could hear me, but I don't want to hear I don't want to. Oh, nice! I froze it in a perfect spot. Oh my god. Perfect. I don't understand. Streaming with screen share. I screen share I mean, I know that you just joined us, but we do screen share a lot of the stuff that so everybody can see the pictures of the videos. So, or do you mean with a picture? I don't know. Oh, I went back. This thing went way back. Okay, anyways, we were on these stories. Jessica Haddix. Oh, bye, Autumn. Oh, I'm having a good time. I'm not a fan. I have my face on there either way. And every time I've tried to do something new, maybe if I got if and when I get a new computer, I can do something else. But I would like to do one where it's just like not so distracting, but I just wanted to focus on the people and not have my face in there. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. What is different about it? What does it do that's better with the OBS? What does it say? Is it weird hearing your own voice? At first it was. I got used to it because it was weird at first because I wrote all my own stories and then I heard my own voice. Once I started reading other people's stories is when I could enjoy it, because that way it was kind of like it wasn't me at all, because it was their story, and it made me really, really enjoy it a lot more, if that makes any sense at all. We actually love that you are spending time with us, though. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, sometimes I can figure out some stuff, but when it comes to the YouTube stuff, I would like to have live streams and like a podcast type of thing, but that'd be pre-recorded anyway, so you don't even have to do OBS with that. And I'm not really sure what OBS does that makes a better live stream, so I'd have to figure that part out. Either way, I'm not comfortable like trying to read stories and live stream. It'd have to be like a totally different type of live stream, like where you just start talking to the people and responding to their comments. I've had problems screen sharing with OBS. I still can't figure out how to share my screen without it showing 20 screens with each other. Well, it does that too on the on this. When I go to screen share, it does that too at first. And when the screens pop up, like it'll it'll share this thing, and it'll say your entire screen, and then you hit share. So at first it looks just like this screenception, but then you click to the side, and then it goes to the screen that you're on, and then I just stop sharing. So there's a few other things I want to figure out how to do, and they don't really have a lot to do with live streaming. There's a lot of like really cool effects. I'd like to make a lot of cool videos. On a side note, I'm not really allowed if I'm supposed to know if I'm allowed to say anything, but it was on Twitter, so I guess I can say something. But I got to record something for Crypt TV today. I don't know when it's going to be up, but I'm really, really excited about that. If you don't know what Crypt TV is, I'm not really. It's really cold where I live. Like, it's 30 degrees right now, but we have no snow. We had a bunch of snow like last month. It melted, and now it's been like warm, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold. It's really, really weird. Yeah, Crypt TV. Hey, Justin Ryan. Hello. I'm researching it now because I'm not very tech savvy myself. Well, I'm tech savvy, but it seems like my computer sucks anyways. So I don't fix what's not broken. Like, if I could if I knew something that it really benefited what I was doing, like on Patreon, I can never figure out Discord so that I could chat with my people on Patreon. It just never worked well with my computer. Every time I tried to use it, it just would crash over and over and over again. So I just stopped messing with it. Okay. Yeah, I was like, when I sent it in, I'm like, let me know if I have to re-record this at all. And that's all due to Mr. Black Pasta. He's the one that was looking for, I just happened to see his tweet and just happened to be the right time. So I don't know if it leads to anything. I don't know if I'll even be in the credits at all, but I'm excited about it. Yeah, I think I have an HP. Don't get an HP. My next one will be a Dell. I've found a very reasonable desktop. I mean, laptops are great, but for when you do stuff like this, we need something that's a little more grounded and with a lot more capabilities and an ability to add memory to it if you need to. So, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna have to DM you tomorrow because I don't know if I'll still be awake. I like to stay up late, but I also like to get up early. So, yeah, if I'm awake for very long after this, then I'll definitely DM you, but it might be tomorrow. So, yeah, there's no way. They only will take the only videos you can put up on Patreon, they have to be like 2 minutes, 4 minutes max, I think. And that's really if it's just a picture in the video. There's very few megabytes allowed to upload to Patreon. And I cannot figure out how. I see some people do like a private video, and I really can't figure that out, and I really, really need to. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Carrie. Let me go back to the stories because I don't know how many. I think we're halfway through these, and these are kind of like, I don't know. I can go on to the other set of stories that I have here that is 21 people. And I think I'm just gonna, is it all right if we move on to 21 people share the creepiest, most unbelievable thing they've seen while working on the grave shift? Is that title long enough? It reminds me of something in The Office. Oh my goodness. This one is, all right, good. Yes. All right. So, number one, I used to work in a hospital in the IT department, and we did a number of overnight rollouts, as well as on-call work. Response issues occurred overnight. Many weird things happened, or appeared to happen. The thing that struck me as oddest was when I saw the coroner running at full speed down the corridor in the opposite direction toward the morgue. This guy was in his 50s or so. going full speed. I had never seen him above amble before, but this time he was really going for it. As he got close to me, he yelled, "Out of the way! I got another live one." I'm not sure what was more disturbing, the fact that he was dealing with what I could only assume was a dead body that now appeared to be alive, or the fact that he said, "another." I would just figured he was like Cucamonga. Cuckoo bananas. Number 2 was really short. McDonald's employee, 2:30 a.m. Guy broke a syringe off in his arm after overdosing on heroin in the bathroom. Bled out through his arm. Blood everywhere. Please God, no. Oh my gosh. Number 3 is collect organs and tissues for transplants from descendants, which usually entails going into morgues in the dead of night. Once a donor was tubed and burped at me from the release of gases from their stomach. I nearly shit myself. Oh my God. Number 4. I answer phones for an answering service. One night I took a call from an account we barely take calls for. It was dead air for a moment, and you suddenly heard this guy start singing, "Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want." And then went quiet. Despite me trying to get a response, he just kept breathing. Eventually, I hung up on him. I mean, that's it. This next one is a little lengthy, but that's okay. So around 12 years ago, I was working, this is number 5, by the way. Around 12 years ago, I was working security at a small company's headquarters in New York City. My partner for the night had called in sick, so I had to work from 12 to 6, all by my lonesome. Now, normally this wouldn't be a problem. I just had to sit in the back room, watch some cameras, and occasionally head out for a sweep. Nothing to it, right? Well, as it turns out, one of the employees had stayed in the building after hours and had managed to avoid my coworker's sweep from the previous shift. I first noticed a movement in my peripheral vision in one of the screens, then again a few minutes later. This was odd, because I was used to quiet nights in this particular building. I was a little scared when I headed out for my sweep, but it was my job. So I grabbed my flashlight and headed out to begin. I had to start the sweep in the one big hallway, and right as I entered it, I saw a flash of movement at the end of the night. At the end of it. At this point, I was sufficiently freaked out. I stood frozen for a minute or so, looking into the semi-darkness, unsure of what to do. The decision was taken out of my hands, however, as I heard a gunshot resound down the hallway. It was the scariest moment of my life. I slowly walked down that hallway to investigate. I reached the end and saw to my left that the president's office light was on. Slowly, I approached the door and creaked it open, scared shitless. What I saw will forever haunt me. The man had taken a seat in the president's chair and shot himself in the head with a pistol, splattering blood and brains all over the floor and the wall. Apparently, this guy was having problems at home, and because the president was supposedly a total asshole to him, he decided to off himself and scare the crap out of the president at the same time. In any case, I threw up a few times and called the police. I got the next 2 weeks off, and I still have nightmares about it sometimes. Holy shit. Oh, my God. What is this now? I have a night shift story. I was working late and was the only one in the building. I was in an office and heard a cough in the outer room. I searched the whole building, and nobody was there. Woo! Dang. That one was nasty. So this next is number 6. I used to work nights for our state road authority, working on traffic signals. I only heard this story, and apparently a truck was carrying a drum of human body parts for disposal, and the drum fell off the truck on one of our freeways. Road patrol guy called in and said there's arms and legs all over the place out here. And all that's disgusting, but the reaction I'm imagining from the people listening, it's funny. I don't know why. Oh, God. You would think he was crazy, right? Like you would believe that call. Number seven. I'm sorry, I'm getting into my goofy girl voice. I have to be in my serious narrator voice. They're not different. It's just a different tone. Focus. Ooh. Yikes. I saw a live guy's brain, so working the night shift at hotel front desk is an interesting job. You get your drunks, your meth heads, and your all-around nutbags. One night our hotel was hosting a college baseball team. The team came back around 11, went up to the rooms to bed. No big deal. Then, around 1 a.m., the coaches came back absolutely hammered. They went up to the rooms, and that was the last I heard from them for about an hour. When I was setting up for breakfast, I heard the elevator ding at around 2 or 3 a.m., daylight savings time in the spring. Out of the elevator bursts one of the coaches, and he runs straight out the front door. Odd, but okay, whatever. He comes running back inside shouting, "He fell! He fell!" I run outside while pulling out my phone and dialing 911 to see one of the coaches who had come back, face down on the ground, in a huge puddle of blood. I have had a bit of rescue training, so I knew to put him on the rescue position so he wouldn't choke on his own blood. The paramedics got there, and as they were loading him up, one of them wiped off his forehead, and there it was. The guy had fallen out of a third-story window, straight on his forehead, and split it wide open and deep, so deep that you could see his brain. He was life-flighted up to a bigger hospital in the up north. He lived, and I got a raise the next day. Ugh. Gross. Why'd you get a raise? Oh my God. Focus, Danielson. Focus. Number 8, I'm an astronomer and I get calls late at night asking about UFOs. One guy called claiming to see a second sun on our all-night high sensitivity cameras. He didn't believe us when he told him it was the moon. I mean, some of these are just dumb. Number 9, I've worked graveyards most of my life. One night while working in a gas station, a guy came in and committed suicide in the bathroom. He sliced his wrists open with a pocket knife. Didn't have to clean the blood since it's a biohazard, but still gross. Another time I was working late nights detailing cars for the police. They would bring in wrecks or impounds that needed to be cleaned in order to sell. I got this one where a guy shot his brains out with a 12 gauge. Blood and brains were everywhere in the cab of the truck. The only thing I had was a small carpet cleaning machine with a long, clear tube with an attachment for upholstery. Oh, needless to say, I saw all the brain chunks getting sucked up through the tube. For some reason, that made it worse than actually having to sit in the cab full of brains and blood. Ooh, the guy goes on to say he has more, but those were the worst ones. Gross. Ugh. My God's sick. Number 10. I was working late at the bank, 11 p.m. last one in. It's pitch black outside, and the bank is essentially isolated, far away from anything nearby. I'm very alone. I'm walking around installing new printers, and all of a sudden the security monitors in my IT room turn off. Odd. I get up and go check the plugs to make sure nothing came loose. As I lean over to inspect the cables, all the lights in the building die, and I am plunged into darkness. My heart starts racing from the shock, and I feel the adrenaline. I ignore my body being a bitch and reach into my pocket to get my phone to use as a torch. But before I can get it out, the backup lights turn on, and the whole building is dimly lit by the faint green glow of backup lights. The lights are very weak, but it's good enough. A green-tinged blackness. I can make out the objects in the room, though most things are in shadow. I leave my phone where it is. I forget the monitors and start walking toward the banking hall where all the tills are, because that's where the circuit breakers are. And I guess it's up to me to fix this shit. The bank is built like a bomb shelter, with thick concrete walls and multiple heavy lock metal doors. I have to swipe my ID card multiple times to get to the hall, and I'm scared that it could get locked in between the two doors. If the power fail has messed up that system, I'm quietly thinking about what I would do if such a thing happened, and I'm still a bit jumpy from the shock earlier. I'm always looking over my shoulder and studying the shadows that I walk past. And that's when I hear a blood-curdling scream. Not a shrill woman scream, like it would be if it was a film, but the death roar of some deep-voiced barbarian. Loud, long, and primal. I can almost feel it vibrating in the air. It's coming from the banking hall. I freeze in place right before the final door, freaking out, and just stare at the gray-green lock of the metal door as I listen. The scream seems never-ending. It feels like the guy's been yelling for 3 minutes or more without taking a breath, but the adrenaline makes telling time difficult. I try and control my breathing. I check behind me down the shadowy concrete green corridor I came from and decide that I need to press on. I turn to the door, swipe my card, and open the door as fast as I can, bursting through, ready for anything. I manage to scan half of the room as I open the door, before I'm blinded by a strong white light. The scream suddenly stops. My eyes adjust, and I see that the light was the main lights reactivating. I'm staring into a normal room. The silence was terrifying, heart pounding in my chest and my ears, but everything seems in order. The white light bouncing pleasantly from letters on tables, the computers turned off and quiet, the bulletproof glass all fine, door to the front correctly locked. The scream was gone, the screamer unaccounted for, and the lights back on. Being quite freaked out at this point until I left out the back way in a panic and called it a night. What? That's crazy. I don't know. Dude, that's terrifying. Just imagine being that person that's stuck in there. Oh my God, shit. It was freaking me out reading that, so I was wondering what was going to happen. Number 11. Working as a pastry chef. That's something that reminds me of like sleep paralysis, only he was at work and he was awake. That's what that reminded me of. Yikes. Number 11, working as a pastry chef for a resort in the mountains, pulling a graveyard shift. Because we were in a kind of remote location, it was very dark outdoors. I was taking the trash. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, yawning. I was taking the trash out to the dumpster, which was a short walk away. As I got near the dumpster, I heard rustling and scraping, shined my flashlight at the noise, and saw 2 glowing white eyes. At this point, I nearly lost it as the creature turned its head. I saw it was a black bear raiding our trash. Following the only advice I knew, I threw up my arms and made myself look as big as possible. The bear ran off, and afterwards we got better locks for our dumpster. Holy shit. Ooh. Dun dun dun. Number 12 is like 2 sentences. gas station in Florida just off I-95 and Highway 50. Had a murder in town. Guy beheaded his ex and killed their kid, then committed suicide, and our store was flooded with folks from the area this happened, as they were all kicked out of the apartment building. Oh. I mean, you could have added more detail to that, sir. Anyways, number 13. I worked at a campground on night shift, 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. every night. It wasn't bad. I would bring in my PS2 and game a good portion of the night, only having to deal with one or two people on busy nights. It was just me in this little 8x8 shack with nothing around but dark all night. My first week there on the other third shift guy who was quitting told me about this payphone a few feet from the shack where I worked. He said it rang every night at 4:17 a.m. just once. It was probably just an automated test call, he guessed. He never answered it himself. So I go for a few months with the job. It was the middle of the summer, so most nights. I had the windows closed, so I couldn't hear the payphone go off. Mid-August, I start leaving the windows open during the night. Sure enough, at 4:17 a.m. every morning, the phone would ring once. The ring even sounded creepy, like the payphone was submerged in water, then put where it sat. One night, I got up the nerve to answer it. I set an alarm at 4:15 and would go wait at the phone until it rang. And when it did, I answered it. But there was no sound. Just dead air, like the someone that was on the other line wasn't answering. I said hello a few times and hung up. I did this every night for a week with the same results. I didn't think anything of it and left it alone after about a month. The first week of October, I decided to answer the phone once again. I set my alarm, and when the time came, I answered the phone. Hello, hello. Then I heard what sounded like someone inhaling through clenched teeth. The voice that sounded was rough and sounded like he had gargled gravel. The best comparison I can give is Horace P. Gage from The Suffering. He said my name, my complete name, first, middle, and last. It was a voice I'd never heard. My voice caught in my throat and I hung up. I rattled some change into the payphone and hit star 69. The number had come from California, and I live in Indiana. Holy shit, has anybody heard that before? I want to know if anybody's heard that before. What? Do I have a PS3? What do we have here? We have an Xbox One. And I just bought a classic Nintendo like last month to play Super Mario. The little thing that comes with it already programmed in it. No PS3 though. Oh wait, we do have a PS2. We have an old PS2 because we used to play Guitar Hero. We still have it downstairs too, and the guitars and the games. I think all the batteries are dead, but you can squirrel me all you want to. Oh no, Autumn left, so she won't squirrel me, will she? But yeah, I'm a big fan of Guitar Hero. Let's see here. Number 14. There's 21 of these, and we're on number 14. Some of them are short, some of them are a little longer. Anyway, so about 4 years ago, I was closing a grocery store, and my coworker forgot to lock the front door. As I was doing a final walk of the aisles, a homeless man wearing a Halloween NASA helmet and his pants tucked into his socks jumped out of nowhere and handed me a menu from Fuddruckers. It had numbers and letters circled and weird notes written on it, like something from the movie A Beautiful Mind. Then he flipped me off and sprinted out the door. I'm sorry, that's not even scary. That's hilarious. sorry, I'm just picturing the whole thing. I'm dying. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, Tara squirreled me. Dun dun dun. Number 15. I drive a truck, and when I hauled steel, I would often run on paper logs, drive all day, and well into the night. I would do upwards of 1,000 miles, 19 hours in a day, and the tail end of those trips were always a little harrowing. When you get within 10 to 20 miles of your destination and precious little sleep, you get a sudden burst of energy. Just enough so that you'll know you'll make it and that the risk of falling asleep at the wheel is no longer present. It's a nice feeling of satisfaction, but doesn't come without a price. Hallucinations, for me at least. That last breath of energy after a long run often brought with it some crazy shit. To make matters worse, places where one might deliver sheet metal coils tend to be right directly inside the butt crack of fucking nowhere, and reaching them involved lots of two-lane roads through the woods. Combined narrow, twisting roads, hallucinations, paranoia about getting caught running illegal, and just enough energy to be aware of it. And you've got what we all like to call a situation on your hands. One particular night stands out. The 800 or so miles had taken about 17 hours thanks to the hills and the back roads I had taken to get there, to as close a place as rural as New Jersey likely gets, just across the Delaware from Philly. So I was coming down from the back-to-back dose of double shots and was about 15 minutes away from the 4 hours of sleep I would be getting that night. I was on the edge and starting to see shit again. So my hallucinations weren't really readily identifiable things like people, oases, or giant stacks of bacon and such, but vague flashes of movement and light. It was as if a fox wearing a suit of strobing LEDs was about to dart out of a tree line. Freaked me out just enough that I usually had one foot on the clutch at all times in case I had to jam on the brakes. I knew it wasn't real, but it still bothered me. In the midst of all this, I was rounding a bend and saw a quarter-mile down the road a man standing in my lane. He had a green reflective vest on and was waving his arms. Too real and tangible to be a hallucination. I began to slow down, immediately wary of the situation, and the scene unfolded before me as I got closer. A mid-sized SUV was on its side on the other side of the road, and a little pull-off carved out of the forest was bristling with some sort of construction activity at the lively hour of 3 a.m. I said out loud, "What the fuck?" Then, from out of the trees burst a fucking bobcat. Not a mountain lion, but one of those four-wheeled mini excavator things commonly used in landscaping. It darted about with all the agility of its namesake, save for the moment when it turned to face the roof of the car, where it nearly tipped over. The bobcat pushed the vehicle over, and at least a dozen people crawled out. I stopped counting at 8. I was in a state of mental lapse and had no idea what had just happened. Finally, the guy in the vest let me pass. My last 10 minutes or so of driving were marked by a sense of calm, as I saw every cop car and ambulance in southern Jersey fly past me in the opposite direction, knowing they had something better to do than check my logs. I got to my destination safely and went to sleep. Oh, so he thought he was hallucinating that whole time, but he wasn't. Oh, what were you asking me? Do you have a Costco where you live? I do, but Sam's is closer to me. Costco's like, I think it's about 40 minutes south of me. And for like 2 years, we would get a membership to Costco. And then we'd go there for like once or twice a year. And it just, I don't know, it just never, I don't know. We would buy crap that we didn't need and just buy too much of something. But Sam's is closer and more practical. I don't know. If Costco was closer, we'd go to Costco because I like Costco more. But anyways, yeah, we kind of do. It's not out of reach, just not very convenient. Like the Sam's is like 15 minutes from us, and the Costco is like 40 minutes. So anyway. Yeah, did you, Glenn, you said you were in Indiana? Yeah, so your weather's probably just like mine too. Like it's a brown grass everywhere, but it's freezing outside. It's really annoying. I feel like if it's going to be cold, at least give us snow so we have something pretty to look at while we're cold. Anyway, number 16 is 2 sentences long, and it says, I work at a truck stop. I saw a guy stumble in from the back entrance around 3 a.m. after being stabbed in the neck with a box cutter. So much blood. Guess you don't need much more than that, but you could have explained what happened to him afterwards. Thank you. Number 17. Nobody will ever see this, but whatever. Okay. Everyone's seeing it now. This not so bright buddy of mine used to work late shift as a fast food place. Blah, blah, sorry. Sometimes when my lips get dry, my teeth get dry, and then everything sticks together, and then it's... Anyways, this not so bright buddy of mine used to work late shift at a fast food place. This one night, a car rolls in the drive-thru, and suddenly he's looking down the barrel of a 9mm. The guy shouts, "Give me the cash on the register." My bold friend bends down and says, "No," and promptly shuts the window on him. The guy drives off confused. The next day, the manager is reviewing the tapes and quickly goes up to him and asks him what happened. My friend says he just closed the window because it was bulletproof. Manager stares at him and says, "No, they aren't." My friend properly freaks out about how close he was to getting shot. Oh my God. He just assumed that the windows were bulletproof. Beautiful. That's just beautiful. Oh my God. Number 18. I work as a transporter in a hospital. About 2 years ago, we moved from the old city hospital into a new state-of-the-art facility. The old hospital was built in the 1930s and was showing its age, and at night was just plain creepy. Each floor had an east and a west wing. The east wing of the 4th floor was the first wing to be shut down about 2 weeks before the move. One night around 9:30, I'm up on the floor to get a patient from the west wing. I see a small group of nurses and aides who all used to work on the now closed east wing. They look visibly shaken. I walk over to see if everything was okay. They told me they had just decided to walk their old wing for nostalgia's sake. When they were over there, the phone at the nurses' station started ringing. The computers and phones had not been removed. Not sure what to do, one of the nurses reached over the counter and answered the phone. The nurse told me there was a woman's voice on the other end, and that she sounded confused. This is how the conversation at best went. "This is Nancy. How can I help you?" asked the nurse. "Hello, who is this?" "This is Nancy. I'm a nurse. Is there anything I can help you with?" Where am I? "This is General Hospital. Are you a patient there?" "Oh, okay." Then the line went dead. That's when the nurse finally looked at the screen on the phone to see where the call was coming from. The phone gave the room number directly next to the nurse's station. The rooms by this point had all been cleared out and the phones removed. They could see directly into the room and see that there was nobody there. That's when they bolted toward the west wing where I was getting off the elevator. I avoided that wing for the rest of my time there. I mean, that's kind of creepy cool, so. Yikes. Number 19. I used to work for the National Park in Pennsylvania. My job was toll collection. My shift started at 3 a.m. My duty was to assess a small fee from the commercial vehicles traversing the park at that godforsaken hour. The neat thing is the first commercial vehicles wouldn't really even start coming until like 5 or 6 a.m., with a few regulars who were in before then. It was the best job and paid very well for what you had to do. The only difficulties, one, staying awake, and two, not allowing your imagination to run away with you and creeping yourself out. The booth was right next to the Delaware River, so in the early morning, the fields and the road and the woods would take on a mist that hung close and low to the ground, like ghostly white hedges. Staying awake was hard, but the second difficulty was the worst. I would write horror stories while I was in the booth. The setting was too creepy not to channel what I was writing. One night, while typing out a few paragraphs, I had this crazy feeling that I was being watched. It was a night with mist like I described. Cold, too. I think it was November. It must have been as I was home from college at the time. I looked around, sort of bleary-eyed. Couldn't shake the feeling. The booth was a box that sat squatly in the middle of the road going south on Route 209. A small parking lot was off to the left. The windows allowed you to see up in the parking lot and the fee assessment lane, the up the road and the travel lane. Like a dunce, I sat there looking up the road and looking out into the travel lane. Couldn't see anything but the white mist and the lone street light about a quarter mile up the road. After a few moments, I looked to my left into the parking lot and the assessment lane to see if anything was there. Nothing. I stood up to get a better look, and as I did, a head of horns and nostrils popped up in front of the window and scared the living shit out of me. A deer had wandered up to the booth and had been sort of grazing at the grass that grew near the door. I screamed like a little girl when I saw him and just sort of meandered quickly away. I had no further need for coffee that morning. You were scared of a deer? My God. One of my wife's dream jobs is to be a toll taker at Mackinac Bridge. I would wonder, oh, hey, Coley. Hello. Thank you. I wonder if there's like a whole series of, if I say it out loud, I swear to God, every time we talk about stories I should do or I'm thinking about doing, bam, I see a thumbnail either the next day or 2 days later and someone else is doing that story. Now, I don't know if someone's listening to this and then taking ideas, or it's just pure coincidence, but it happens way too often for me to say out loud what my ideas are in live streams anymore. So I don't know, but I just have an idea for a set of stories now, and it's probably, I don't want to say it out loud and then give someone else the idea. So yeah. Number 20. There's only 2 more, and then we're going to call it a night because we are going on 2 hours of a live stream. And it is my birthday, and I would like to go to sleep soon because I'm tired. I need my beauty sleep. I'm like 157 years old. I need to sleep. Anyway, just kidding. Anyway, number 20. My mother started working at the hospital right out of college. It was the only job she had ever known. On moving day, she was determined to walk through every hallway before leaving for the last time. She had her camera and was taking pictures as she went. So apparently the hospital must have moved to a new building. They sort of left that out, didn't they? On one of the empty patient wings, she stopped and was getting ready to take a picture when the door to the room right next to her slammed shut as though someone on the other side had thrown the door as hard as they could. My mother decided she was done taking pictures. Awesome. Yeah, you don't see me when I first wake up, Tara, but thank you. Number 21. I was going on 10, and I was taking my last. It was going on 10. Not the person was going on 10. The time was going on 10. Oh, see? That's another reason why. Like once my eyes start getting tired, I'm useless as a reader. It was going on 10, and I was taking my last patient back to her room. She was a little old lady who was stable enough to ride in a wheelchair, but definitely needed assistance on her feet. I got her back to her room and helped her into her bed, made sure she was comfortable, and set the bed alarm before turning out the lights and leaving her room. I pulled the curtain behind me so as not to let too much light in, but not all the way, so that I could still see in her bed from the hallway. Her nurse was in the room next door, and I needed to speak with her. While I was standing there, waiting for the nurse to come out of the other room, I distinctly saw a person walk past the curtain inside the old woman's room. The person was about the same height as the woman and had the same gray hair. At first I thought, she shouldn't be up walking around. Then I remembered the bed alarm was set. The room was totally silent, and when I looked in, I could see her still lying there exactly where I had left her. She hadn't moved an inch, and the bed alarm was still armed. That's when I got the most intense full-body chills of all my whole life. The nurse came out of the other room. I gave her my message, and then I booked it out of there. And that's where it ends. Come on. Boo. Man. Anyways. Oh. Bloody Mary, calm down. Live stream when you wake up. Oh, no. Oh, no. Once it's on the internet, you can't live that one down, dude. Yeah. It'll be there forever. Because someone will, every time somebody puts something on the internet, and if they delete it, somebody has taken a screenshot of that. It's going to share the shot of it. I don't know. No way. No way. I don't know. Maybe I will someday just to scare people. I always, when I was a little kid, we would always do stuff like seances and Bloody Mary and all kinds of crap like that. And I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of weird stuff that went on, but I also think that it had a lot to do with my one friend's house was really, really old and creepy. And I think that's why a lot of events happened when we were at her house. Oh, I'm probably going to wrap this up. Plus, I know that there's probably other live streams that are popping up now. And I think somebody mentioned something about that earlier, too. So, yeah, my stomach does feel better. Thank you for asking. My 158th birthday. Yeah, I can barely even, see anything. My eyes are so old. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for coming and spending my birthday with me, everybody that did. Thank you. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you had a good time. I know that somebody said somebody else is live streaming after this, or probably just started one, so I'll let you guys go to that. And I'm out of stuff to read to you right now anyways. I don't want to lose my voice. And I don't know. Thank you guys for coming and spending my birthday with me. I just said that literally a minute ago. Patreon story will be up tomorrow. Live streaming it on Thursday. I'm not sure what time on Thursday. I know there's going to be some Christmas shopping happening probably during the day, though. So probably at night again. And so I don't know if Saturday will be a serial killer Saturday or not. I want to do something special for Christmas because Christmas is coming up. I don't know. I feel this urge to do something different because of Christmas coming up, and then do maybe a serial killer Saturday after that. So I'm going to say good night to you guys, and thank you for coming. Only your stream matters. Oh, that's very nice, damn gypsy. Well, Chris Watts versus a lot of YouTubers are covering it a lot. Oh, yeah. Anytime I see people doing that, I usually don't do it. Halloween stories. You know, I did an entire month of Halloween stories. Not a lot of views. So yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. I'm too tired. I need to go to bed. So I'm going to thank you guys for coming, and I will see you guys as the week goes on. And if I don't, have a good Christmas, and make sure you come back and listen afterwards. So thank you for coming. And on that note, I will say goodbye. How we always say goodbye here, sarcastically, but with a heart of gold. Bye, 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 bye.